Real talk,
Real solutions with Pam
and Shay. Let's spill this tea. All right. So let's talk about he got comfortable
and she required nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
So we kind of decided to get on this today because of the movie Relationship Goals by Devin Franklin on Prime TV. We watched that movie and something just kind of reached out to us. It made us want to kind of get on this topic because it happens so often. So we felt like we kind of wanted to touch bases on it. And the people in the movie that stood out to us even more than Kelly Rowland and Method Man, which was really who the movie was about. But for us, Brenda, who was Kelly Rowland's friend, and Aiden, who was her boyfriend, really stood out to us. Really, really stood out to us.
They did.
So we wanted to kind of talk about that because we felt like Brenda wasn't requiring anything. And we feel like Aiden had just gotten comfortable.
He had really gotten
comfortable. He had gotten comfortable.
Right. And got beside himself.
Okay. Definitely got beside himself. And she began to just go with the flow. She began to just let him do what he wanted to do. She began to not require anything from him because she just really wanted that ring. And so she felt like as long as she didn't do too much, say too much, ask for too much, respond too much, as long as she just kind of let that relationship just go with the flow, then she would eventually get that ring.
And she was shrinking. She was shrinking down.
She was.
And she was feeling less than a person. She was feeling like she wanted more. But she didn't quite know how to get that more until
she began to speak on the book called Relationship Goals.
Okay.
When she was an anchor. So when she began to interview, I believe his name was Michael Todd. When she began to interview him, read his book, it began to wake her up. It began to wake her up. And what stood out to her was when he said, is it God's will or does the relationship need to end?
Right. That's
when just things just register for her, when it just clicked for her.
Right.
When he said that to her, it was like it just opened up a light for her. So why do you think that stood out so much to her?
First of all, I want to say that those are warning signs. When you get those warning signs, you don't always know that they're warning signs, or you just ignore those warning signs because you're more into that person than you really know that you are. So I really think that when the book was written and he became a person that of interest to them, and the movie is around the book, and the book was called Relationship Goals, right? And so when he said, is it God's will? That's what you should be asking yourself. Is this God's will? Is this where I'm supposed to be? Because you really got to be aware of where you're standing. Because if you're standing in the wrong place too long, what's the question? The question is, why am I even here? So as women, we have to become aware of our surroundings. Okay. And we have to know what we want in relationships. So I say date with intention.
That's a good one. Date with intention.
Date with intention.
Let's elaborate on that. Because, that can mean different things to different people.
It could.
So let's elaborate on what dating with intention actually means. What does that mean to you? What does dating with intentions mean to you?
Let me see. What does that mean to me? That means I would have to love myself first. That means I would have to know what I want and how to get it. And that means loving yourself is not difficult.
Okay.
But you have to truly want to do that. So you have to put the work in.
You have to put the work in.
You have to put the work in.
And that is the most important part. Like exactly. You can't move any further without loving yourself first. It starts with loving you. You can't love someone else if you don't even know how to love yourself.
You can't.
How can you love someone else when you don't love yourself and when you don't even know how to love yourself?
Exactly. And you don't even know who you are. You don't even know anything other than this is what I want.
And to me, That's the point she got to.
Okay.
She got to the point where she had lost herself in that relationship.
She did.
Where she had lost herself in that relationship, where she did not love herself anymore.
She did.
And she began to love him more than she loved herself.
Absolutely.
And I think she even began to wonder, like, is this even really love?
Right.
Like, is this relationship even really love? Because if this was love, I wouldn't have to be just settling. I wouldn't have to just be accepting anything this man brings my way. I mean, this man literally brought home a box with a ring in it.
He surely did. He did. He brought
and
home with a
did
ring.
it like it was going to be an engagement ring. And when he opened it up, it was his basketball championship ring. And he was so excited about it. And because she wanted that relationship to work so badly, she just went along with it and just acted as if she was just excited as he was. When she was so disappointed. But instead of expressing to him and talking to him and communicating with him, she literally just put aside her feelings and went with the flow and required nothing.
But when she read that book, she found herself. She found out that she was requiring nothing. So at some point in the movie, and she kind of let him know that she felt a type of way about what she was going through with him. She said, you know, this is going nowhere. She said, I'm your one plus.
Plus one.
She was just
she
letting him
she
know.
was his plus one.
Right.
She felt like she was just taking a back seat. She felt like, and this is so important too, because it happens so often, where she felt like she was giving everything to that relationship that you give in a marriage, but without the covenant. She didn't have the marriage, but everything was being done in that relationship as if they were married. But she didn't have a ring. She didn't never have the wedding. She just literally was giving herself to a man that got comfortable and was treating her like I was going to say like her husband, but he wasn't even treating her like a husband.
He wasn't.
She was treating him like her husband, but he was not treating her like he was her husband.
Yeah.
He was just treating her like she was conveniency.
Yeah.
Like it was just convenient. Like it was just comfortable, you know, to be in that relationship, you know?
Right. But here's the scary thing about this whole situation is she read the book and the book opened up her life. It opened up her mind to the things that she was settling for. And then she was talking to her girlfriends about it. And her girlfriends was like, yeah, you know, this isn't good. You know, this is something is this really what you want? So she decided to leave him. Now, when she put out there, because it was like an ultimatum, but I like the way she did it. She did it really kind.
She didn't bluntly say, it was kind of like her actions let you know it was an ultimatum.
She was kind with her words, and that's what you got to do. You got to be kind with your words. Because everything isn't about an attitude. It's really about what you say and how you say it. And she presented it well. But guess what she did? She stood on what she said.
She stood on business.
She left. And when she left,
it woke him up. It woke him up. When she left and began to require something from that man, that's when he woke up. It wasn't until she had the courage and the strength to leave and require something that he began to see her. That's when he began to actually see her. And he actually began to realize what he had been doing and how he had took her for granted. But she had to require something first. You just aren't going to get what you want out of a relationship when you're not requiring that man or that woman to give you what you need out of the relationship, just like they're getting what they need out of the relationship. It's just not fair for you to settle and to give them everything they need out of the relationship, and you're getting nothing out of the relationship. So once she left, and he realized what was really going on, and he realized, oh, this just got real. He read the book, and he began to see exactly what he was doing wrong.
Exactly.
In the relationship. It woke him up. And then he realized, like, if I don't stand on business, I'm going to lose her.
That's right.
But it wasn't until she began to require something.
More.
That he got
required more.
Uncomfortable.
She did.
Uncomfortable.
But also too, what I want to say is she was in good company. Her girlfriends really had her back. They really loved her. They really cared about her. And all three of them had situations that they were going through, and they were helping each other go through it. So anytime, you know, like you have friends and things of that nature, you want to make sure that those people really have your best interests in mind.
But I will say this too, guys. Kelly Rowland in the movie, which her name was Leah, she could be kind of negative.
Oh, yeah.
She could be kind of negative toward it all, but she understood her friend.
She did.
And she didn't let the things that her friend was saying determine what she wanted to do and how she felt and where she wanted to go with the relationship. She listened to her. You know, she heard her. She listened to her. She took it in, but she also decided she wanted to do what she wanted to do. We got to do that too, guys. You got to learn your friends. You got to learn how to place them where they belong. You got to learn that everyone is going to be different. You're going to have negative people coming at you. You're going to have positive people coming at you. But when you love yourself and you know what you want and you know your worth, those voices coming, whether positive or negative, you don't let them affect you because you know what you want.
Well, there's good negativity and there's bad negativity. When your friends really care about you and they're coming at you maybe in a not so good way and it's negative because it isn't what you want to hear, they're being a friend. They're standing up for you. They're letting you know you can't do this. And see, here's the really good part about it, Jashay. They all had issues. And they all listened to each other. At the end of the day, they all began to talk about it.
They let each other be them.
They didn't judge them. They didn't stop each other. They just let them
be them.
They let them.
And they let them work through their issues. You know, they let them go through without making them feel bad, without saying, you know, leave him. I mean, Kelly Rowland, she had some negativity. But it wasn't necessarily negativity toward her friend. It was really kind of negativity toward the book. But because her friend knew what she was getting out of that book, she didn't let the negativity that Kelly Rowland was bringing toward her about the book influence how she treated him or how she treated herself or what she got out of the book. It didn't matter how Kelly felt about it. It was like, okay, it's not for you. That's great. That's fine. But it is for me. And I hear you and I wish you would read it and give it a chance. But since you're not, that's fine. I understand that. I listen to you. I hear you. But baby, I still got to do what I got to do for me. But that was really good.
But Kelly Rowland was also stuck in the past.
She was.
You got to kind of look at the movie to kind of get some of the things we're talking about. And it really is a good movie because it's giving you some real live stuff.
It's giving you 3 standpoints, 3 different friends going through 3 different things.
Right.
You know, you had the friend that was, you know, not requiring nothing. You had Kelly Rowland who was stuck in the past, who was letting her career and things like that determine her future. And then you had the friend who wanted a relationship so bad, but she was seeking it and looking for it in the wrong places. And she hadn't got herself together yet. She had to take time to get herself together. And that book helped her realize that. The book in the end helped all of them realize who they were and where they were trying to go and what they needed to become and what they needed to work on. But in order to do that, you have to be willing to listen. You have to be willing to see where you fall short and what you need to work on. And a lot of times you got to put aside what that man or woman needs work on or where they're falling short and work on yourself. Sometimes you have to work on yourself. Like
you do.
Brenda had to step aside and take a moment to work on herself.
She did.
You know, you can't always focus so much on what that other person is doing. Like, yeah, they're doing it, but what can you do to better your situation? Whether stay, leave, fix things in you, you know, just whatever you need to do to better or change the situation or to leave the situation. You know, you also have to reach inside yourself. And that's what they began to do. They began to reach inside their self.
They reached inside themselves. And then Michael, the guy who wrote the book, the name of the book was Relationship Goals. He talked about dating. He talked about how he was making bad choices. He talked about all the things he was going through. Now, he's a man. And he was letting, you know, everybody know that sometimes dating, when you're dating and you're not dating with good intentions, you're not really dating in the right way, it leaves you empty. Every time it leaves you wanting more. So he had to change himself to get more. So that's the reason he wrote that book, because he said he wanted to share this with everybody, because relationships, they're not like they used to be. They're not. You find people are just not ready. But they're moving like they're ready. And they're expecting stuff like they're ready, like they're supposed to get it. They feel entitled. But baby, believe me, you got to work on you before you get out there and start dating, because you really got to know who you are and what you want. And you got to be able to say no to the stuff that's bad for you. And you got to know it when you see it.
You got to know it. That's what I was going to say. You got to know it when you see it. You got to recognize it when it's in front of you.
You got to.
Because sometimes that thing be right in front of you.
And you don't even see it.
You don't even see it.
Because see, that one chick in the movie, that one guy liked her, remember?
And she didn't even see it.
She couldn't see it.
She couldn't see it. He
Too
liked
busy.
her. And for us on the outside looking in, it was so obvious. It was like, girl, he likes you. But she couldn't see it. She couldn't see it. For one, because she was too busy chasing men that weren't for her.
Ooh.
She was too busy chasing the men that weren't for her, that she couldn't see the one that was in front of her that was for her. She couldn't see it because she was too busy out there going on all these dates with all these wrong men. And the man that was for her, that God made for her, was right there in front of her face. But she didn't see it. But she did eventually see it in the end. But when she saw it in the end, it was after she had worked on herself. And read that book. And she began, and she took time for herself. She took time to really dig inside of herself and figure out who she was and what she wanted. And once she did that, now he became so clear.
He did. Let's spill that tea about that woman who has that man. She can tell you everything she wants in a man. Everything. And that was Kelly Rowland's thing. She had wrote this great big long list about all the things she wanted in this man. And when she began to read them to Method Man, who she was having a problem with throughout the movie, because he was somebody she dated a long time ago and it didn't work out. So that's why we said she was stuck in the past. Because see, they were put together to work together. And this is what brought them together in the end. Of course, it was a happy ending because it's a movie. But he was telling her all the things that she was expecting. No, because she said the man needs to be 6'2".
It was pages.
I mean,
it was like 4 pages of stuff she required in a man. And it was just like, you're never going to find all that stuff in a man. So in this situation, she required too much. She was requiring too much. We gotta pay attention to that too. We gotta pay attention to just requiring too much in a relationship. You just out there dating and you looking for that perfect man, and ain't nobody gonna be perfect. But you gotta figure out what you can handle, what is for you, because what you can handle, your friend might can't handle. Or what your friend can handle, you might can't handle. It don't necessarily always mean your friend is with the wrong man or you're with the wrong man. Or the wrong woman, or it just means that that's something they can handle that you can't. And that's something you can handle that they can't. So we have to be careful with that too. We have to be careful with sitting around, girl, I would never, and girl, how you just gonna let him do this and let him do that, and blah, 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 blah. Because that's her life and that's what she can handle. And as long as she's happy with that, you just got to be okay with it. And you just got to let it play out.
You got to let it play out.
You just got to let it play out. You just do.
You have to. You have to learn to love yourself. You have to learn to be okay with not being okay. Now, when I was growing up and going through things in life, and I felt like, golly, I'm just going through so much. You know what I did? I took myself out of the dating game because I wasn't ready. I was attracting the wrong types of men all the time. So what I did was I began to look for therapists. I began to look for books. I started reading books. I started doing all those things because I wasn't going to go back out there attracting that same kind of man, because that wasn't what I was about. And I took myself out the game for about 3 years. But guess what? When I got back in the game, no meant no. I'm good, man. I'm good. Oh, don't call me. I'll call you.
Ooh, don't call me. I'll call you.
Right.
That's that, and that's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes. That's how it's supposed to go.
Yeah, and it took me a minute to get it. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying you're perfect, but you got to really realize that if you do the same thing, you're gonna get the same thing.
result. Every
time. You gotta change it.
The same result.
You gotta change it for yourself. Mm-hmm. See, get out there and want to be better. Mm-hmm. So you wanna do the right things. Mm-hmm. And so then when you pray to God and ask God for a good man, you know what I start doing? I start asking God to prepare me for a good man. Help me know him when I see him. Mm-hmm. Now, he may not look like what you think he should look like. Okay? He may not have the job you think he should have, but you have more in common than what you don't have in common. And when you come together as a partner in a relationship, it builds. It gets better and it gets better and it gets better. Because that man looks good coming in that door. Mm-hmm. Helping you where you need help and you helping him. And you guys are coming together as a couple. Mm-hmm. That's what's in real, and that's what's really important. What he looks like, is that going to pay a bill? Mm-hmm. What he looks like, is that going to help you understand why this isn't the way it should be? Communication, gotta have it.
Gotta have
it.
It starts with that.
You gotta have it.
If you can't communicate, you don't got nothing.
You don't have anything.
You gotta be able to communicate for so many reasons. Right. You got to be able to communicate. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when you're arguing with somebody, are you really communicating? What are you doing? Mm-hmm. So you know what I did? I took arguing out of my life.
And it's crazy that you say that because in the movie, mm-hmm. Method Man and Kelly Rowland were so busy going back and forth and arguing. He saw her because he had been wanting to still be with her.
Right.
But she didn't see him. Because she was so busy arguing, fussing, being rebellious, so against everything, she didn't want to try to get to see him. Mm-hmm. She was so stuck on who he was so many years ago that she wasn't seeing who he was in that moment.
And the man
that he had become. The man he had become. Yeah. Because she was so busy arguing with him, fussing with him, fighting with him, just trying to do everything she could not to fall. Mm-hmm. She was doing everything she could not to fall. Mm-hmm. And she couldn't even see that the man that checked out so many things on her list was right there in front of her. He may not have checked out everything on her list, but he checked out a lot of things on her list, but she couldn't see it because she was so busy getting in her own way.
Mm-hmm. And then it's closer to the end of the movie. She and him had gotten together in a way that she didn't think that she would ever do that again. And so she decided to leave. And he was like, are you sure that's what you really want to do? And she was like, I want to be in that position that we're trying to get.
Mm-hmm. She was just more worried about work.
Yeah.
She was just more worried. But I think that a lot of times she was pushing herself into her career.
That's right.
So that she wouldn't have to feel.
Right.
So she wouldn't have to feel the other things going on in her life. She wouldn't have to feel the loneliness. Mm-hmm. She wouldn't have to feel, when he came along. Before him, it was the loneliness. Once he became along, she didn't want to have to feel feelings coming back for him. She didn't want to have to feel that she really did like him.
She
began to push herself into work.
Right.
She began to make herself thinking it wasn't what it was. And all along her friends knew. They said, we already knew.
We already knew.
You late. We been saw that. But we was going to let you do you. Mm-hmm. But that's what friends do.
That's what
they
do.
Let her figure it out on her own. They didn't judge her. They didn't make her feel bad. They didn't talk about her. They wasn't coming for her. They wasn't saying things behind her back. They let her figure it out on her own and still remain friends with her and still remain loyal to her and let her figure it out. And when she figured it out, it all just became so clear. And they were like, we've been knowing.
Right.
We've been knowing.
Right. So that was a positive moment with some negativity, but it was good negativity. It was the kind that says, we really love you and we want you to do what's best for you. We want you to do what you have to do to get what you want out of life. Mm-hmm. And so, Kelly Rowland, she found out in the end that, she really did love him. But this is the part I want you to know. He took himself out of the game. He took himself out of the out of the race so that she could have that job. Mm-hmm. He said, it ain't worth it to me. Mm-hmm. I want you to be happy. Mm-hmm. So he was on his way to, to leave.
But she also had made a comment to him in the movie earlier that if he really liked her or cared about him, or I forget the wording, but she said, you'll take yourself out. Like you'll leave and just give me this position. And so he did that. And then when he did that, what happened?
Kelly Rose figured it out.
She figured it out, but she also was like, what? Like, how could he do that? But he just did what she asked him to do.
That's right.
And then even when he did what she asked him to do, she still was like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
So it was like,
it was unbelievable.
What she wanted, she found it in. It wasn't even what she really wanted.
It wasn't what she wanted. But what she did find out that she was in love with that man, and he was a good man. Because see, sometimes when you separate and you go your separate ways, you begin to look at yourself and see that book. See, he was the person that read that book and brought him into the movie. And so they were the reason that they put, well, what were they doing?
He was basically the person that put the ideal out there and worked for them to do this show on the book, for them to do it was like a Valentine's Day thing they were trying to do. A Valentine's Day interview show thing. I don't really know what it's called, but Method Man was the one that said, let's do it on this book called Relationship Goals. Right. But the fact that that's what came to him out of all the things he could have said, that right there, if you would have paid attention to the signs, that right there should let you know that this is a changed man. Yeah. Because the other people were throwing out little knick-knack stuff. Oh, Cupid, this and that. He's like, no, let's do it on this book called Relationships Goals. It's powerful. It's something everybody needs to know about. So that right there should have woke her up. Should have let her know, like, whoa, he might have changed from the past, because he cheated on her in the past. They were together and he cheated on her, but it was so many years ago. But it showed you that people can change if they want to change. But you gotta person has to want to change, and he wanted to change.
You gotta want to change. And here's the really good point for me is they talked about God. They talked about God and how God has the last say in your life, and how you have to turn your life over to God. You have to believe in a new way of living. Because you can't stay the same. Because if you stay the same, you'll get the same thing. And because they wanted to change, because he did change, but see, the thing about it, he stuck by her. He really did. He did. He showed himself to be there. He showed himself to be worth it. And at one point, he told her, "You're worth it." And that was so powerful to me. So if you feel like you're going through something, and your life isn't what you wanted to do, life is just lifing. What you want to do is you want to step back, regroup, and begin to love yourself and take care of yourself. Yes. So that you don't get the same things over and over again. Because let me tell you something. You can't get those years back. You can't. You can't turn back the hands of time. And that clock just keeps right on ticking. It never stops.
It ain't going to stop. It's not going to stop. So that was, he got comfortable and she required nothing.
Well, we spilled that tea.
Yes. So we want you guys to remember, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. See you next week.
See you next Friday.